There's a rule in the Marquis's mansion. If a man wants to marry his official wife, he has to stand blindfolded in the ancestral hall and shoot a bow. He has to hit an apple 100 steps away. If you miss, you can only try again next year. But the young Marquis, who could shoot a willow branch at 100 steps at 12, had missed 3 years in a row. The first year he said his hand shook. I told him there was always next year. The second year he blamed the wind. I told him not to give up. The third year I couldn't take it anymore. I snuck over to the Marquis of Northtown's ancestral hall. I wanted to watch him practice, but I accidentally overheard Lu Yu's talking to his friend. You missed again this year, Yuza. Nice fake hand injury, by the way. Lu Yuzi spoke lazily. What else was I supposed to do? If I hit it, I'd have to marry Zixi. Don't you want to marry her? Of course I do. Lu Yuz paused. But what about Momo? Outside the window. My fingers dug into the wood of the window frame. Lu Yuz spoke in a low voice. My heart isn't made of stone. I promised Zixi I'd only love her forever. But I can't bear to let Momo go either. What about Miss Jo then? She's been waiting for you for years. If you don't ask for her hand soon, she might say yes to someone else and it'll be too late. No way. Lu Yuz sounded sure. Zixi loves me so much. She'll never marry anyone else. I'm gonna drag this out a little longer. Wait till she's a bit older. And not so stubborn. Then she'll agree to let Momo live with us as my wife too. Then I can have both of them. The two of them burst out laughing. I felt ice cold all over. I stumbled out of the ancestral hall in a daze. All I remember on the way back was that it suddenly started raining. I didn't bring an umbrella. Rain mixed with tears ran down my face. The day after I got home, word spread that Su Yimo was betrothed to the biggest playboy in the capital. Lu Yuz couldn't hold back anymore and crashed the wedding. That night they got married and spent their wedding night together. The whole capital was waiting to laugh at me and the Jo family. But the next day, the noble heir climbed over my wall. He looked at me casually. You pay for what your husband did. Lu Yuz is still my fiancé. I want you to make it up to me. Be my noble heir's wife. Is that too much to ask? I nodded. Not at all, I'll marry you. He hadn't expected me to actually agree to such a crazy thing. Qi Xiao stood there with his mouth open, stunned. He stammered, You said it. I'll come marry you in 3 days, don't you dare back out. He said it like he was scared I'd change my mind. He jumped off the wall in a hurry. He even tripped on his way out. Nearly fell flat on his face. I watched and laughed. He wasn't nearly as terrible as people said he was. He was actually kinda cute. Not long after Qi Xiao left, Lu Yuzi showed up too. My face immediately turned cold. Master Lu just got married, huh? Why aren't you at home spending time with your wife? What are you doing here? Lu Yuzi's face stiffened. He forced a sweet smile. Jishi, I didn't want this to happen, but Momo's heart is too soft. I couldn't just stand by and watch her marry that old fat guy. Her whole life would have been ruined. So you could just stand by and watch me and the entire Jo family become everyone's laughingstock? The second you crashed that wedding, whatever we had was over. Please leave, Master Lu. Our engagement is off. Lu Yuze frowned. He tried to reach for me. Xixi, stop being silly. Even if I'm married to her, it won't change what we have. Momo's so kind. She won't make things hard for you if you move in. You'll just be a concubine for a little while. Once you have a kid, I'll promote you to equal wife. You and Momo will both be my wives. I won't favor either of you. Asking the eldest daughter of the Jo family to be her concubine? I can't believe he even said that. Even if I wanted to, my ancestors would never allow it. I stepped back. I stared at him coldly. Jo Lingxi will never be a concubine. When I refused, Lu Yuz got annoyed. It's just a title, and even as a concubine, I won't let anyone look down on you. Why do you have to make this hard for me? I'm making this hard for you? I almost laughed out loud. Who was the one who crashed a wedding right before ours? Who married her right after? Who turned me and my whole family into a joke for everyone? And he has the nerve to say I'm making things hard? I looked at him sarcastically. I'll say it again. Who women never become concubines? I kept turning him down, embarrassing him. Lu Yuze lost his temper. His face darkened. Jo Lingxi, you're being ridiculous. Everyone knows you've been crazy about me since we were kids. I've had you wrapped around my finger this whole time. Who else would marry you without me? With that, he stormed off in a huff. I was shaking with anger. A deep sadness washed over me. I knew the Lu Yuz who once cared only about me, who would never let me get hurt, was gone forever. The man he is now is only Su Yimo's husband. I should have let go the second he chose her over me, when he trampled all over my heart. But I just couldn't. I refused to accept it. Over a decade of friendship between us, and it couldn't compare to the 6 months he'd known her. Turns out I was wrong. Qi Xiao didn't give me time to change my mind. The next day, the Qi family came to propose. They brought 108 carts of betrothal gifts. They filled my entire room. My parents didn't think highly of Qi Xiao. They begged me to think it over. But my mind was made up. If I can't have love, I'll take power. Qi Xiao may have a bad reputation, but he's the future heir of the Marquis mansion. If the Su family's legitimate daughter hadn't refused to marry him, this marriage never would have gone to Su Yimo. I was about to have the gifts moved to the storage room when Lu Yuz walked in with Su Yimo. When they saw everything, they jumped to the wrong conclusion. Lu Yuz raised his chin, looking like he'd known it all along. A greedy look flashed across Su Yimo's eyes. Sister, are all these your dowry? Su Yimo was the illegitimate daughter of the Su family, born after the master slept with a maid. She'd never been treated well in the Su household. On her wedding day, Madame Su even knocked over her dowry in front of everyone. I frowned. I denied it, but Lu Yuze scoffed. Cut the act. You said you wouldn't marry yesterday, and now you've got your dowry already. Right, sister? Why pretend? We're family now. Brother Yuze, didn't you bring a gift for sister? Hurry and give it to her! Suyimo tugged at his arm eagerly. A flash of green crossed my vision. I stared at her, frozen for a long moment. The Lu family has an heirloom jade bracelet. It's meant for their future daughter-in-law. Once I found out, I dropped hints to Lu Yu so many times. He always dodged the question and refused to give it to me. I never thought I'd see it on Suyumo's wrist. Suyumo noticed me staring and tugged her sleeve up on purpose. Thanks to her little show, Lu Yu scowled and pulled a wooden hairpin out of his robe, tossing it at me. He acted like he'd just gifted me something priceless. Here, this is for you. I stared at the cheap, chipped hairpin and let out a mocking laugh. He's so generous to Suyumo, but cheap as hell with me. I held the hairpin back out. No thanks, keep this nice thing for your Miss Su. Lu Yu's face turned ugly in an instant. Furious, he snatched the pin and threw it out the window. If you don't want it, it's gone. Suyumo stamped her foot in a cute fake tone. Sister, this is something Brother Yu's and I picked just for you. It's our way of showing we care. Oh, and sister, you'll be joining the family soon. I sewed this wedding dress for you myself. Please accept it. She took the pink wedding dress from her maid and held it out to me. I laughed out loud in anger. Pink is what concubines wear. I looked at smug Suyumo and finally got why they showed up today. They wanted to put me in my place. They didn't even bother asking if I'd let them. Right in front of Lu Yuzi, I said firmly, I told you already. Our engagement is off. If you two are done here, please leave. Clearly they didn't take me seriously. Suyumo grabbed my arm and tried to pull me inside. Sister, don't be mad. Who knows if this dress fits? Why don't you try it on? I shoved her away, annoyed. Get off me, don't touch me. I barely touched her. I didn't even use any real force. But Suyumo dramatically fell backward, still holding the dress, and plopped onto the floor. Tears welled up in her eyes right away. Sister, I'm sorry. I just wanted you to try the dress. I didn't mean anything by it. Lu Yu saw this and shoved me hard in a rage. Zhou Lingxi, Momo stayed up 2 nights straight making that dress. This is how you treat her kindness? A jealous, petty woman like you? You deserve to be alone forever! With that, he picked up Suyumo and stormed out without looking back. Suyumo glanced back and smirked at me triumphantly. The scene reminded me of the first time we met. Back then, she was just a lowly concubine's daughter from the Su family. At a banquet, her legitimate sister treated her like a servant. She spilled wine on her sister and got slapped. Then she was forced to kneel in public. Lu Yu's hated seeing people bully the weak, so he stepped in to help. Later, he worried she'd be targeted again. Lu Yu's always looked out for her. He gave her the best of everything first. I was jealous over it so many times. He'd just laugh and say, I only help Momo because I feel bad for her. At first I believed him. I thought he only cared out of sympathy. Then one day, Suyumo was forced to marry Qi Xiao. Lu Yuze crashed the wedding. Scared of waiting, he married her that same day. They'd already slept together. That's when I realized. Suyumo had already taken my place in his heart. I was naive to think he was just being nice. He'd only been extra kind to her. The day before my own wedding was the annual Lantern Festival, my favorite day of the year. Every year before, Lu Yuze would release lanterns with me. This was the first time I went alone. But when I got to the street, it was completely empty. All the vendors were gone. I was confused. Then I heard 2 women gossiping. Master Lu is so rich. I heard he bought every lantern on the street to make his wife happy. Can you believe it? I'd be so touched if I were her. That's nothing. He even offended a prince just for her. And he made the Zhou daughter become his concubine. A guy like that? I'd wait 3 years for him. I'd even shorten my life for it. I smirked bitterly and turned to leave. A familiar voice called from behind. Sister! I turned around without thinking. Lu Yuze and Suyumo were standing nearby. He ran over to me holding a lantern. Sister, did you come to release lanterns too? Lu Yu's was still mad about the fight the day before. He huffed at me coldly. Suyumo held out her lantern to show off. Miss, brother bought every lantern on the street for me. She smiled and held one out. You can have this one if you want. No thanks. I stepped back, scared she'd frame me again. Besides, I don't do used things. Not people, not stuff. Lu Yu's face dropped instantly. His voice turned sarcastic. Miss Zhou is too good for my gifts. Ignore her, Momo. Let's go. He dragged Suyumo to the river and left in a huff. A man dressed as a butler walked over. Miss Zhou, His Highness asked me to give this to you. I stared at the lantern in shock. It was shaped like a stream with a bold, free-handed character, she, written on the bottom. It was the prettiest lantern I'd ever seen. I couldn't bear to set it afloat, so I took it home. The next morning, my maid woke me up early to do my hair and help me into my wedding dress. The time was near. Finally, it felt real. I was actually getting married. Not to Lu Yu's, the childhood sweetheart I'd waited for years, but to Qi Xiao, the most reckless prince in Shengjing. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. I took a deep breath. I'd made my choice. No matter what happened later, I'd stick with it. Once I was dressed, the wedding procession arrived. I didn't expect to see Lu Yu's instead of Qi Xiao. I stared at the tiny pink palanquin and the small group of less than 20 men, shocked. I thought I'd made myself perfectly clear. I'd already sent back all the Lu family's betrothal gifts. What was he doing here? Before I could say anything, Lu Yuzi saw me in full wedding attire and snapped. Zhou Lingxi, who told you to dress like this? I'm here to marry you. Take that crown off. His unfair yelling made my blood boil. Lu Yu's, I've told you 100 times. Our engagement is canceled. I'm not marrying you today. My husband will be here soon. Now take your people and leave. Lu Yu's scoffed in disbelief. Cut the act. I'm leaving if you keep this up. Momo will be my official wife. I promised I'd make you a secondary wife if you gave me a child. Are you really that desperate to move up? I rolled my eyes. This was all in his head. I never agreed to any of this. I was about to speak when music started behind me. Lu Yu's looked back and frowned. Is someone else from the Zhou family getting married today? Before he finished, Qi Xiao rode up to me on his horse, leading the way. He saw Lu Yu's in his little procession and raised an eyebrow. Well, well. Trying to steal my princess consort again, Master Lu? Lu Yu stared at him in surprise, too stunned to think straight. Then something clicked and he eyed Qi Xiao warily. I was going to ask you what you're doing here with all these men. Marrying my wife, what else? Lu Yuze froze. A terrible feeling washed over him. His voice shook as he asked. When you said princess consort, you mean her? Xiao smirked and was about to answer, but I spoke first. Lu Yuz, this is my husband. He's the one I'm marrying today. That's impossible! Lu Yuz paled and practically shouted. We were already engaged. How could you marry him? I laughed coldly. He still remembered our engagement. But who broke it first to marry someone else? He met my gaze and finally understood. Panic flashed in his eyes. Terror of losing me crashed over him. He pointed at Xiao. Xiqi, I know you're mad I married Momo. But don't be so reckless. Do you even know who he is? Everyone in Shengjing knows. Xiao is a spoiled playboy who hangs around brothels and does nothing all day. How can he give you a stable life? You're ruining yourself. Xiqi, come back with me, please, I'm begging you. Xiao's expression darkened. He rubbed the handle of his whip, his aura turning icy. But he held back and looked at me, letting me decide what to do. I was sick of his interference. Any soft feelings I had left were destroyed by everything he'd done. I stepped forward and stood in front of Xiao, staring coldly at Lu Yuz. Lu Yuz, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm not marrying him on a whim. This is a choice I've thought through carefully. From now on, we go our separate ways. Xiao smiled at my words and put his arm around my waist, pulling me close. He sneered at Lu Yuz. Master Lu. Did you hear that? My Sixi said we're done. Don't embarrass yourself any longer. Just then, the matchmaker hurried over for the auspicious time, waving her red silk scarf. Your Highness, Princess Consort. The time is right. It's time to board the palanquin. I walked past Lu Yuz and reached for the matchmaker's hand to get in. Lu Yuz lunged forward and grabbed my wrist so tight his knuckles turned white. It hurt badly. Sixi, come with me. I won't let you marry him. You're only marrying me. Xiao narrowed his eyes and a cold chill filled the air. He gripped his whip tightly, pointing the tip right at Lu Yuz's face. Planning to crash another wedding, Master Lu? You stole my fiancé last time. Do you really think I'm that easy to push around? Lu Yuz's eyes were red. He looked completely insane. He didn't care about the crowd or his family's reputation. So what if I am? I'll do anything to get Sixi back. Xiao dropped his playful act and let out a cold laugh. He flicked his wrist and the whip sliced through the air, narrowly missing Lu Yuz's ear. A few strands of his hair fell to the ground. He flinched and let go of me. Then you can ask my whip first, and ask the 100 guards behind me. If they'll let you. Tension exploded. The air was thick with danger. Guests and neighbors crowded around, whispering, but no one dared to step in. Lu Yuze had already angered Xiao badly over Suyumo. The Lu family steward broke out in a cold sweat. He rushed out of the crowd, all color drained from his face. He froze stiff, not knowing what to do. Xiao was already tired of waiting. He signaled to his guards. 2 large guards stepped forward and pinned Lu Yuz firmly between them. He struggled wildly but couldn't move an inch. The matchmaker lifted the curtain. I took her hand and stepped into the palanquin. The moment the curtain fell, I heard Lu Yuz screaming hysterically, over and over, heart-wrenching and desperate. Don't go, Sixi, come back! Zhou Lingxi, you can't marry him! I never looked back. The second he chose to crash our engagement and marry Suyumo, everything between us was over. All those years of feelings, they were all for nothing. The palanquin swayed as musicians played all the way. This is the young lord's estate of the Zhenguo Duke's manor. Lu Yuz has no business causing a scene here. The guests had already been waiting for a long time. With family and friends as our witnesses, Ji Xiao and I bowed to heaven and earth. We bowed to our elders, then finally bowed to each other as husband and wife. And just like that, with cheers all around, I became the official young lady of the manor. We entered the bridal chamber. Red candles burned bright, bathing the whole room in a warm crimson glow. I looked at Ji Xiao standing before me, feeling a wave of guilt wash over me. I said softly, I'm sorry about what happened today. I had no idea he'd make such a scene. I ruined the mood for you. Ji Xiao stepped closer, gently brushing the loose strands of hair from my temple and cut me off. His voice was soft. It's fine. At the end of the day, I'm the one who married you. A little hiccup like that, it's nothing. Hearing that, I gave him a grateful look and was about to say something else. But the moment I looked up, Ji Xiao suddenly leaned down and planted a kiss right on my lips. His lips were warm, carrying a faint trace of wine. He pulled back with this ridiculously satisfied smile on his face and said, I won't ever make you regret choosing me, not in this lifetime. My face went completely red, from my cheeks all the way to my ears. My heart started racing out of nowhere, thumping like a little rabbit going crazy in my chest. Ji Xiao didn't even give me a second to process. He just scooped me up into his arms and carried me toward the bed draped in deep red silk. The candles flickered softly. It was a tender night. Lost in a haze, all I felt was his gentleness and sincerity. Nothing like the wild, reckless playboy everyone always talked about. The next morning, I was yanked awake by the ache all over my body. I pushed myself up, one hand on my back, internally cursing up a storm. Wasn't Ji Xiao supposed to be a regular at the pleasure houses? Some kind of veteran? So why was he going at it like some rookie who just discovered girls and had zero chill? Ji Xiao was already gone. The only thing left was warm tea and snacks neatly set out on the table. I was just about to get up and go find him when 2 maids outside started chatting in hushed voices. Their words drifted in crystal clear. Did you hear? Young Master Lu knelt outside our young lord's gate all night yesterday. Said he wouldn't get up until the young lady forgave him. In the dead of winter. Knelt the entire night. His knees were rubbed raw. Right? And then his wife Su Yumo showed up just now. Saw him still kneeling there and wouldn't budge. They got into it on the spot. Pushing, shoving, practically coming to blows. It was a whole mess, so embarrassing. Didn't people say young Master Lu was crazy in love with his wife? He literally stole her from our young lord and rushed the wedding the same night. So how is he out here chasing our young lady now? Girl, you don't get it. That's just how men are. Always obsessing over what they can't have. Once they get it, suddenly it's not exciting anymore. But all that, it's just a phase. The one he truly keeps in his heart, she's the one he pushed away. Such a shame. He did that to himself. The voices outside faded. I stood there for a long moment, completely zoned out. Not a single ripple in my heart. Just relief. Lu Yuzi made his own choices. Now he can live with the consequences. Then Xiao walked in, carrying a warm bowl of lotus seed congee, and found me standing by the window. He said gently, "Why didn't you sleep in a little longer?" "Are you feeling okay?" I shook my head. Couldn't sleep anymore, so I got up. He walked over, picked up the spoon, blew on it gently, and held it up to my lips. His eyes were so warm. "Hungry? The kitchen made this especially for you. It's soft and sweet. Give it a try." I blushed and took a bite. The sweetness of the lotus seeds mixed with the rich, creamy congee melted right on my tongue. Neither of us brought up the whole Lu Yu's situation. He didn't ask, and I didn't volunteer anything. The moment I decided to let go of him, he became nobody to me. Just some stranger who didn't matter. Not worth another second of my energy. After breakfast, Chisho took my hand and walked me over to serve tea to his parents. They were both warm, gracious people. Not a single mention of Lu Yu's stunt the day before. His mother held my hand, smiling with her whole face. She slipped a white jade bracelet onto my wrist, cool and smooth against my skin. She said warmly, "From now on, you're family. You're our daughter-in-law of the Qi household." Xiao, being his shameless self, squeezed in from behind and wrapped his arms around me, chin resting on my shoulder. His voice was all soft and sweet. "Being with you is literally my top priority right now. The estate's got the steward and my parents handling things. I don't need to worry about a thing." We spent 3 whole days just being totally wrapped up in each other. Then it was time for the return visit. Xiao packed generous gifts and personally held my hand as we rode the carriage back to the Zhou family. We barely stepped off the carriage when I spotted a figure bolting toward me from way down the road. As he got closer, who else could it be but Lu Yu's? He had dark circles under his eyes, a bruise on his cheekbone, and a busted lip. There were even a few shallow scratch marks on his face. He looked absolutely wrecked. Clearly the aftermath of that fight with Tsuyumo. Then he clocked Xiao holding my hand, and his eyes went red in an instant. He froze in his tracks. He stared at me with this complicated look on his face. I frowned. I let go of Xiao's hand and stepped forward, voice cold and distant. "Is there something you need?" A flash of pain crossed Lu Yu's eyes. His voice came out hoarse. "What happened before? That was all on me. I was stupid. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It wasn't until you married him that I finally understood how much I hurt you. I know I was wrong. Zixi, can you find it in your heart to forgive me?" I gave a light nod. "That's all in the past. There's nothing to forgive." Lu Yu's eyes lit up immediately. He thought I wasn't holding a grudge anymore. He stepped forward eagerly. "Zixi, I already brought up the divorce with Tsuyumo. I was never serious about her. You're the only one I ever cared about. Can you give me another chance? Leave Xiao and come back to me, please." Xiao's expression dropped the second he heard that. He stepped in front of me and grabbed Lu Yu's by the collar in one swift move. His fist was clenched so tight it cracked, and it looked like it was about to fly. I grabbed his arm quick. "Xiao, don't. It's not worth it." I turned to Lu Yu's, voice serious, and said it slow and clear. "Lu Yu's, when I said it's in the past, I meant we're in the past. Done. Over. We're both married now. We both have our own lives. Stop saying things like this. You're just embarrassing yourself. And honestly, it's making everyone else uncomfortable too." Lu Yu's eyes were red. He wasn't giving up. He pointed at Xiao, furious. "You won't be happy with him. He's a playboy. He doesn't know the first thing about treating a woman right. I don't care about his past. Just leave him, and I'll marry you right now. I'll spend the rest of my life devoted to only you. Sixi, please." Whether I'm happy with Xiao, I know the answer better than anyone. His gentleness, the way he treasures me, every part of him. It's all for me. That's enough. But you, Lu Yu's, I don't believe a single word you say. You betrayed me once for Tsuyumo. You'll betray me again for someone else down the line. If I can already see the swamp ahead, why on earth would I walk right into it? I shook my head, my expression firm. Lu Yu's, we're both adults. Own the choices you've made. You married Tsuyumo. So be a proper husband to her. That's the right thing to do, and for both of you. As for me and Xiao, we're doing just fine. Don't worry about us. Hearing my answer, Xiao let out a smug, cold laugh and warned Lu Yu's, "Got it? Next time I catch you pulling this again, don't expect me to hold back. I don't care about the Lu family's reputation." With that, he put his arm around my waist and turned to head inside. Behind us, Lu Yu's let out a desperate, furious shout, his voice cracking with despair and resentment. "Why, Zhou Lingxi? Why? We grew up together. You promised you'd marry me. How could you go back on your word? How could you be so heartless? Please, give Yu's back to me. I can't survive without him." Tsuyumo was bawling her eyes out. Snot, tears, the whole thing. Everyone nearby turned to look, eyeing the situation with curiosity and judgment. I frowned, voice cold. "Get up first. If you have something to say it like a grown-up." But she just shook her head and stayed glued to the ground, looking up at me through her tears. "No, not until you agree. Sister, Yu's only has eyes for you. Ever since you got married, he hasn't looked at me once. He hasn't touched me in over half a month, and now he wants a divorce, all because of you. You already have your young lord. Why are you still taking him from me?" She reached out to grab the hem of my sleeve, but I caught a flicker of calculated scheming in her eyes. She was trying to play victim, get me to look like I was bullying her in front of everyone. The crowd kept growing, the whispers getting louder. I had no interest in dragging this out in public. I was about to just walk away, when Su Yurong, the eldest Su sister, suddenly stepped out from the crowd and walked over fast. She grabbed Tsuyumo by the ear and snapped, "Tsuyumo, haven't you embarrassed yourself enough? Stop making a scene!" "Get up!" Tsuyumo winced in pain, tears in her eyes. She saw who it was and immediately shrank back. "Big sis!" she whimpered. "Don't call me that. I don't have a shameless little sister like you." Su Yurong's face was full of disgust. "All this over a man, throwing yourself on the ground, crying in public? You're an absolute embarrassment to the Su family name." Suyumo opened her mouth to protest, but Suyurong had already had enough. She shot a look at the maids behind her. They rushed over, gagged her, and dragged her away by force. After all that, I was done. I said my goodbyes and headed straight back to the estate. Word got back to Lu Yu's quickly about what had gone down that day. He was so furious he locked Suyumo in her courtyard and banned her from going out. Afraid she'd show up in front of me again and run her mouth, I finally had some peace and quiet. Just when I thought it was all behind me and life could finally settle down, one day out of nowhere I got a letter delivered by Lu Yu's. The handwriting was a mess. Just a few scrawled words. Qi Xiao is at Yanchun House. Yanchun House was the biggest brothel in the city, and used to be Qi Xiao's favorite spot. All those rumors about his past came flooding back to me. My heart sank. A wave of unease hit me hard. And almost on autopilot, I changed my clothes and slipped out of the estate alone. I headed toward Yanchun House. At the back entrance, Lu Yu's was already waiting in a carriage. He had this smug, confident grin on his face, and the second he saw me, his eyes lit up like he'd won something. Like he'd finally got the goods on Qi Xiao. His voice was buzzing with excitement. I told you, Qi Xiao is not a good man. And look, it hasn't even been a few days and he's already back to his old ways. I just got word like he's up in Yanchun House right now with a bunch of his boys, surrounded by women living it up. Don't believe me? Let's go right now, see for yourself, see who he really is. Part of me immediately wanted to turn back. I was scared of what I might see, scared that maybe I'd made the wrong choice after all. But my feet had their own plans, and I got in the carriage. The whole ride there, I felt sick to my stomach, like something was sitting on my chest and wouldn't let me breathe. Finding out Qi Xiao was at Yanchun House hit me 100 times harder than finding out Lu Yu's had married Suyumo. Lu Yu's noticed I was in a bad mood and for once kept his mouth shut. The carriage rolled to a stop behind Yanchun House. I followed Lu Yu's inside. No one stopped us. We made it all the way up to the second floor and stopped outside a private room. The door was slightly ajar. Laughter and chatter spilled out from inside. Then I heard Qi Xiao's voice, and my heart clenched. Then the next second I heard him say, "Let me be clear. Don't invite me to a place like this again. My Shixi doesn't like it. If she ever finds out, she's gonna be mad." "Whoa! My lord! You just married your lady and you're already whipped?" a teasing voice called out. The whole room burst out laughing. "Y'all don't understand. This guy has been down bad for Zhou Lingxi since they were kids. Like for years. He finally got her. Of course he's gonna treat her like she's made of gold. Back in the day, you couldn't even say Zhou Lingxi's name around him without him losing it. And when he found out she was engaged to that Lu guy, he locked himself in his room and cried for days. He had painted portraits of her covering an entire room. One look at them and you'd miss her all over again." I raised an eyebrow, genuinely surprised. That actually reminded me of something. Back when we were kids, for a while there, a dark shadow would show up on my courtyard wall every single night. I thought it was a ghost. Scared me so bad I couldn't sleep alone for the longest time. And it turned out that whole time, it was Qi Xiao. "Qi Xiao, I remember you painted a whole room full of Zhou Lingxi's portraits back then. Did you ever throw those away?" I held my breath without even thinking. I pressed myself against the door and listened closely to what was going on inside. Then I heard Qi Xiao's voice, warm and just a little smug. "Throw them away? No way. I kept every single one. That's over 10 years of feelings right there. When we have kids someday, I'm pulling those out to show them, so they know how hard their dad had to work just to win their mom. To marry their mom. Haha. So Lu Yu's marrying Suyumo wasn't some impulse. It was a long-planned betrayal of someone he claimed to love. Outside Yanchun House, Lu Yu's was leaning against the carriage. When he saw me, his eyes were full of regret. His voice came out rough and hoarse. "Zixi, do you think I'm an idiot? I was the one who pushed you straight into his arms. I said all those awful things to you. You must hate me." As he spoke, tears of regret rolled down his face. I watched him quietly. The last trace of lingering sadness in me just dissolved. "Lu Yu's, I'm not going to lie. I genuinely loved you before. Down to my bones. I used to dream about marrying you. But that was then. Right now, I'm happy. Qi Xiao treats me well, and I'm not going to let you mess that up for him. So from now on, if we happen to cross paths, let's just act like strangers, live our own lives, okay?" Lu Yu's dropped his head and went quiet for a long time. His shoulders trembled slightly. Just when I thought he wasn't going to answer, he gave a small nod. His whole figure looked hollow, lost and alone. He came here so full of himself. He left looking like he'd been dragged through the dirt. Watching his lonely figure walk away, I knew this time it was really, truly over between us. All those feelings and wishes from when we were young, they finally drifted away with the wind. I didn't go back in to interrupt Qi Xiao and his friends. I headed home to the estate alone. I went straight to his study, even though I'd already mentally prepared myself. The moment I pushed open the door and saw portraits covering every wall and every shelf, I still stopped dead in my tracks. Every single painting was me. From a little girl with pigtails to a young woman in full bloom, laughing wide open or furrowed in thought. Every expression, every look, captured so vividly it almost felt alive. Judging by how faded the ink was and how yellowed the paper had gotten, these paintings had been around for years. Every single brushstroke held over a decade of love and longing. I reached out and gently ran my fingers over one of the portraits. The cool paper beneath my fingertips made something in my chest go warm. My eyes started to sting. I'm not sure how long I stood there. Then I heard footsteps behind me. Qi Xiao walked in. He saw me standing in front of the portraits, eyes red, and the color drained from his face. He rushed over and wrapped his arms around me, panicked. "Xixi, why are you crying? Did I do something wrong? Did someone upset you? Don't scare me like this. My heart can't take it." I couldn't hold it together anymore. I buried my face in his chest. "Qi Xiao, I like you. I really, really like you." Qi Xiao went completely still. He froze for a few seconds, like he was processing what he just heard. Then a wave of joy hit him all at once. He pulled me tight, pressing his chin to the top of my head, kissing it again and again, his voice cracking, thick with emotion and overwhelming happiness. "Xixi, I love you too, more than you could ever imagine. I've loved you for over 10 years. This life, the next life, and every single life-wise, it will always only be you. Later on, Ji Xiao found out that Lu Yu's had dragged me to Yanchun house that day, trying to stir up trouble between us. He was so furious he nearly stormed over to the Lu estate to beat the daylights out of him. He also kept swearing up and down that yes, he used to go to Yanchun house, but only to hang out with friends. He never laid a finger on any of those women. He was so afraid I didn't believe him. He practically got on his knees and swore to the heavens. I couldn't help but laugh watching him. The moment I saw those portraits, I already understood exactly what I meant to him. Of course, I believed every word he said. In that moment, I felt so grateful. Grateful that in my darkest time, I chose Qi Xiao. Grateful that after everything we went through, we still found our way to each other. Qi Xiao left his wild days completely behind. Outside of managing the estate and unavoidable social obligations, every spare moment was spent with me. In the spring, he'd be right there with me planting flowers in the garden. Then one day, Qi Xiao and I were invited to the Grand Princess's garden banquet. The place was packed. Noble families, young lords, and ladies from all over. The whole thing was lively and buzzing. I was walking around admiring the flowers with a few close friends, when suddenly a familiar and very unwelcome sort of voice came from behind me. "Xixi, long time no see. How have you been?" I turned around. There stood Lu Yu's not far away. He was in a slightly faded white brocade robe. He'd gotten noticeably thinner, dark circles under his eyes, exhaustion written all over his face. But he was still staring at me, like he was trying to carve my face into his memory forever. Qi Xiao's expression darkened. He stepped in front of me instinctively. "Young Master Lu," he said coldly. "This is the Grand Princess's banquet. Know your place." Lu Yu's ignored him entirely. He just looked at me, his voice low and raw. "Xixi, knowing you're doing well, that's enough for me. But I can't let go, I just can't. I already divorced Tsuyumo. I'm free now. Can you give me one more chance?" Every eye around us snapped in our direction, curious, prying. My face burned. I was equal parts embarrassed and furious. "Lu Yu's, I've made myself very clear. Qi Xiao and I are happily married, have some self-respect. Stop making a scene." But Lu Yu stepped closer, his eyes wild and obsessive. "Xixi, I know you're still angry at me, but I genuinely know I was wrong. I lost my mind back then. Please, just give me one chance to make it right. I don't need anything else, I just want to be by your side." Qi Xiao had heard enough. He stepped forward and clocked Lu Yu square in the face. Lu Yu staggered backward a few steps, blood instantly spilling from the corner of his mouth. Qi Xiao pointed at him, furious. "Lu Yu, don't push your luck!" "Xixi has been crystal clear. You come near her again, don't say I didn't warn you." Everyone around us jumped at the sudden outburst. The Grand Princess quickly sent people over to intervene. "Young Master Lu, please. Talk it out calmly. Let's not ruin the mood at the banquet." Lu Yu wiped the blood from his lip. His eyes got even more unhinged. He screamed at me. "Zhou Lingxi, are you really this heartless? Over 10 years between us and you just cut it off like it was nothing? You said when we were little you'd follow me forever. You forgot I chased off that dog that was attacking you? You forgot the promise we made together under the peach blossom trees? How could you forget all of that?" I took a deep breath, my gaze ice cold. "Lu Yu's. That's all in the past. You destroyed everything between us the moment you married Tsuyumo. We were done, there's no going back. Don't bring up the past again, and stop following me around." With that, I grabbed Qi Xiao's hand and walked away, leaving Lu Yu standing there alone, looking like a complete fool, swallowed up by the stares and judgment of everyone around him. Qi Xiao quietly tightened his grip on my hand. The warmth of his palm melted away the last of my unease. "Don't be sad over someone who doesn't deserve it. I will spend the rest of my life treating you well, 100 times better than he ever could, 1,000 times. I leaned into his shoulder and said softly, "I know. As long as you're here, I'm not afraid of anything." The drama at the garden banquet spread through the city fast. Lu Yu's became a laughingstock. People said he had a perfectly good life and threw it away, chasing after an ex who had already moved on and gotten married. Tsuyumo wasn't doing well either. After Lu Yu's divorced her, her reputation was destroyed. The Su family was too ashamed to take her back, so they turned her away. She had no choice but to move in with distant relatives, and life under someone else's roof was anything but easy. She was constantly looked down on and mistreated. Then she heard that Lu Yu's was still going after me, so she came back to the city, hoping to patch things up with him. One day I was inside having the maids help me make snacks when out of nowhere, shouting and crying erupted outside. A maid came in to report. Tsuyumo was at the gate, causing a scene, demanding to see me. Qi Xiao's face went dark immediately. "Tell her to get lost," he said coldly. "I won't have her filth near this estate." But Tsuyumo refused to leave. She just got louder and louder, drawing a crowd of onlookers from outside. I knew if we didn't let her in, this would only spiral into a bigger mess. And that wouldn't be good for the estate's reputation either. I sighed. I told the maid to bring her inside. Tsuyumo walked into the courtyard, clothes torn and disheveled, hair a mess, with visible bruising on her face. She looked absolutely wrecked. The second she saw me, she lunged forward and tried to grab my hair, screaming, "Zhou Lingxi, you witch! You ruined my life, it's all your fault!" Qi Xiao moved fast. He shoved her back before she could reach me. Tsuyumo stumbled back several steps and crashed to the ground. She lay there sobbing with everything she had. "Zhou Lingxi, what did I ever do to you? Why are you treating me like this? If it weren't for you, Yus would have never married me in the first place. You're the one who drove a wedge between us. You're the reason I ended up like this." I looked at her, not a single ounce of sympathy. Every bit of this, she brought on herself. She was the one who deliberately sabotaged my relationship with Lu Yu's. She was the one who willingly married him. And now that it's all fallen apart, that's on her. She made her bed. I said, calm and flat. "You married Lu Yu's. You know what choices you made. Deep down, you know exactly what you did. If you hadn't set him up back then, Lu Yu's would have never misunderstood me. Marrying him was your choice. Divorcing him was your choice too. Whatever happens between you and Lu Yu's, It has nothing to do with me. How you ended up here? You have no one to blame but yourself. Suyumo looked up at me, eyes full of venom. You're lying. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, Yu's heart would have never been taken up by you. I will not let this go. I won't. Chi Xiao stepped forward, eyes cold as ice. Suyumo, say one more word out of line and I won't be so polite. Now get out. Suyumo knew there was nothing left to gain. She shot me one last hateful glare and scrambled out, stumbling as she ran. After that whole thing, Lu Yu's finally went quiet for a while. I figured he'd finally come to his senses and would leave me alone for good. I never expected him to do something even more unhinged. That day, Chi Xiao had been called away to the border to handle military matters. The estate was just me and a few maids. I was in the study reading that night when I suddenly heard a strange noise outside. I thought someone had broken in. I called for a maid right away. She went out and checked everywhere, came back saying nothing was there. I let out a breath and went back to my book. But not long after, the door was kicked open. Lu Yu's came storming in. His eyes were bloodshot. His face was unhinged. I finally have my chance. Chi Xiao's gone. Come with me. I'll take you somewhere no one can bother us. We can start over. I was shaking all over. I backed away fast. Stay away from me. Lu Yu's, you've lost your mind. Chi Xiao will be back any moment. You need to leave now. But Lu Yu's kept closing in, a twisted smile spreading across his face. No, he won't. I already had someone shoot his horse on the road. He's not coming back. Shishi, come with me. We'll never be apart again. I stared at him, this unraveling, terrifying version of him, and felt pure dread. You actually tried to hurt Chi Xiao? Louise, you are absolutely impossible. Just then, a rapid flurry of footsteps came from outside. Kisho burst in with his guards. Turns out Chi Xiao had already anticipated that Lu Yizi might do something reckless, so he'd arranged for guards to secretly protect me in advance. He took one look at Lu Yizi, face going cold as stone. Lu Yizi, how dare you? You actually had the nerve to break into my residence and try to hurt Sixi. Lu Yizi froze when he saw Chi Xiao, clearly hadn't expected him back so soon. Once he snapped out of it, he lunged toward me to use me as a hostage against Chi Xiao, but the guards had already moved, pinning him down hard. Chi Xiao crossed the room and pulled me into his arms. His voice had a tremor of fear in it. Sixi, are you okay? Did he scare you? I shook my head and leaned into him. I'm fine. Chi Xiao, I'm so glad you came back. He gently stroked my hair. This is my fault. I shouldn't have left you here alone. I'm sorry you had to go through this. Then he turned back to Louise, still pinned down. His eyes went ice cold. Louise, you have harassed my wife over and over again, and now you break into my home and try to hurt her. Do you really think the Duke of Zheng's household is that easy to push around? Someone take him away. Hand him over to the authorities. I will make sure he answers for every single thing he's done. The guards dragged Louise out. He thrashed and screamed, Shixi! I genuinely love you. You can't do this to me. Qishao, you conniving snake. Let me go! But his screaming changed nothing. He was taken away. Qishao held me and didn't say a word for a long time. I could feel his body trembling. He had genuinely been scared. Scared of losing me. The authorities moved quickly and put Lu Yizi on trial. Breaking and entering, attempted kidnapping, and suspected conspiracy against an imperial official. The evidence was airtight. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. The Lu family scrambled everywhere trying to save him, burning through every last coin they had. But Qishao had already taken care of everything behind the scenes. Every bit of the Lu family's effort was for nothing. The Lu patriarch couldn't take the blow. He fell gravely ill and never recovered. The Lu family's businesses collapsed. In the aftermath, they went bankrupt almost overnight. The once prominent Lu family fell apart just like that. When Suyumo learned that Lu Yizi had been sentenced, and the Lu family had gone under, he completely fell apart. He had nothing left to hold on to. Ended up on the streets, begging to survive. One day, Qishao and I were out walking, and I spotted him from a distance. He was in tattered clothes, hair dull and brittle, face smeared with grime. Kneeling on the roadside, begging passers-by for money, eyes completely empty. Nothing left of that coy, manipulative person he used to be. Looking at him, I felt absolutely nothing. This is exactly what he deserved. Days kept passing. Qishao and I only grew closer. He still doted on me just as much as always. He remembered every little thing I liked. When I got sick, he'd stay by my side day and night without rest. When I was in a bad mood, he'd find every way possible to make me smile. We went through so much together, and every experience made us stronger. A year later, I was pregnant. Qishao was absolutely over the moon when he found out. Every single day he hovered over me, careful as could be. Wouldn't let me do anything strenuous. Brought in the best imperial physician to check on me regularly. The whole household revolved around me. Everyone terrified I might have even the smallest setback. My mother-in-law personally cooked for me every single day. All kinds of nourishing soups and broths. She was determined to make sure her grandchild came into the world healthy and strong. Watching Qishao busy himself for me, my heart was full. Seeing Qishao love me just as much as the very beginning, my heart was filled with joy. I knew I had chosen the right person for this life. In prison, Louise heard that I'd had a child, that Qishao cherished me completely. He was consumed by regret, living every day in agony and self-blame, growing thinner and thinner, his mind slowly unraveling. He'd scream my name at the wall, saying he regretted everything. But it was already far too late. The wrongs he committed were his to carry for the rest of his life. Word later came that he got into a fight in prison, and was beaten into critical condition. He never truly recovered. Bedridden, a shadow of who he used to be. As for Suyumo, he was later caught stealing and thrown in prison, sentenced to several years. After he got out, he still hadn't learned a thing. Kept stealing, kept causing trouble, eventually got into a fight, and accidentally killed someone. He was sentenced to death, and that was the end of his pitiful, wretched life. Time flew by. Before we knew it, our son Qin Yanxi had grown into a young man skilled in both letters and martial arts. He passed the imperial examinations, entered the court as an official, and earned the deep trust of the emperor. Qishao too had inherited the title of Duke of Zheng, becoming the new duke himself. Our family lived in warmth and harmony, full of joy and laughter. The envy of everyone in the capital. Every year at the Lantern Festival, Keisha would take me and our son to release lanterns on the river. He would handcraft a one-of-a-kind lantern just for me, just like the one before we were married, the one with the character She written on it. Watching the flickering lights drift across the water, I leaned against Qi Xiao's shoulder. Qi Xiao, thank you. Thank you for marrying me without a second thought. Thank you for giving me a life this full of happiness. He held my hand tightly, his eyes soft and warm. Sixi, I'm the one who should be saying thank you. Thank you for never giving up on me. Thank you for walking through all these years by my side. Finding you, in this lifetime, is the greatest happiness I've ever known.